It's Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. And you won't be hearing any of that here.
He ain't never here. I've wasted all these years of my life. 'Cause all we do is fight. And staying's getting hard to justify. And blaming him for everything is easier than swallowing my pride. There's a lot of gray involved. Love ain't black and white. Baby, love ain't black and white. There's different shades of truth. When a red hot love burns out, it'll leave you black and blue. There may be a silver line, but it ain't always inside. Baby, love ain't black and white. Anytime I'm gone, the only place I wanna be is back home. 'Cause every night's a different town. Yeah, this road's done worn me down to the bone. I know we're living on a prayer, but girl, I swear to you, it's all gonna be alright. But there's a lot of faith involved, 'cause love ain't black and white. Baby, love ain't black and white. But now there's different shades of truth. And when a red hot love burns out, well, it'll leave you black and blue. And there may be a silver lining, but it ain't always inside. 'Cause baby, love ain't black and white. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to see the signs, but you gotta read between the lines. Baby, love ain't black and white. And now there's different shades of truth. And when a red hot love burns out, well, it'll leave you black and blue. And there may be a silver lining, but it ain't always inside. 'Cause baby, love ain't black and white. Baby, love ain't black and white.
Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt, and I am so excited about this episode. As a matter of fact, and I put the biggest song out there right away. It's JB and the Moonshine Band, again, the band that we have referenced many a time here on the show. But that's featuring Angelina Presley from the Pistolantes. Yes, with Miranda Lambert and Ashley Monroe. Probably one of the biggest duets that JB is going to find for a while because, well, they're still an up-and-coming band, but a fantastic band. That one was Black and White, and yes, you have heard that on their album, but you haven't heard that one. The album version is just JB and the Moonshine Band, but there's a special release that involves Angelina Presley, and that's awesome. As a matter of fact, I believe Angelina's going to be hitting the road with JB and the Moonshine Band just so that they can do that for their live shows as well. So be sure to check out a show from JB and the Moonshine Band featuring Angelina Presley. All right, they are kind of unheard of royalty. They're kind of a band that has been so big. They've won Grammys. I believe they've even been nominated for Oscar awards. This is the Civil War's latest. This is called Dust to Dust. It's off the self-titled second album. Again, it's the Civil Wars here on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
It's not your eyes, it's not what you say, it's not your laughter that gives you away. You're just lonely, you've been lonely too long. Oh, you're acting your thin disguise. Oh, your perfectly delivered lies. They don't fool me. You've been lonely too long. Let me in the wall you built around. We can light a match and burn them down. Let me hold your hand and dance round and round the flame in front of us. Dust to
You held your head up, you fought the fight, you bear the scars, you've done your time. Listen to me, you've been lonely too long. Let me in the walls you built around. We can light a match and burn them down. Let me hold your hand and dance around and round the flames in front of us. Dust to dust. You're like a mirror reflecting me.
Takes one to know one, so take it from me.
You've been lonely
You've been lonely
too long.
We've been lonely. We've been lonely
Too long.
Are you on Twitter? Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at OTBP Podcast.
Follow me, all right?
Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Off the Beaten Path.
I pull up that scheme all around the north side. Chasing a sweet thing, so satisfied. Every time I try, crazy about a north side gal. I got some good talk, but not enough game. Ooh, in a sweet thing, oh, ain't it a shame? Every time I try, crazy about a north side gal. Well, she gets colder every time I try to hold her. Presently saying no to hold a younger gentleman. All of them try. They're crazy about a north side gal. I got some money and some wheels to drive. Oh, beat up guitars and a whole season dive. Every song I sing, it swings about a north side gal. Well, she gets colder every time I try to hold her. Pleasantly saying no to both the younger gentlemen. All of them try. They're crazy about a north side gal. Well, I said they're crazy about a north side gal. 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 Well, they're crazy about a north side gal. Crazy about a north side gal.
Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. If you didn't have a foot tapping, then you must be unconscious, because that was JD McPherson, not JB, JD McPherson and Northside Gal. Crazy about a Northside Gal. I love that. When was the last time you heard a song that was recorded like that style in a modern era? As a matter of fact, I was listening to the whole album, Signs and Signifiers, while I was putting this episode of the show together. So spectacular stuff coming out of JD McPherson. He's a great musician. Please go check out his debut album called Signs and Signifiers. Great stuff. I'm not being paid to say any of this, by the way, people. I'm doing this just for you. So this is Off the Beaten Path podcast. I'm trying to introduce you to your brand new favorite band, and I know it's working. As a matter of fact, I know it's working because I'm getting more and more listeners, and I appreciate it. That means you guys are spreading the word. So, again, here we go. Off the Beaten Path podcast has some country music royalty. Holly Williams, Hank Williams Jr.'s daughter, Hank Williams Sr.'s granddaughter. This is Holly Williams' brand new one. This is called Waiting on June. It's a long one. Settle in. It's off the album The Highway. It's right here on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
She was from North Louisiana in the town of Marouge. I fell in love in a week or two. It didn't take long to love a girl like that. We were barely 10 in the cotton fields, playing horseshoe with the colored kids. I tried to kiss her. She grabbed a baseball bat. I was waiting on June. I hope she comes to see me, waiting on June. I can't take this feeling, waiting on June. I pray to God she'll love me one of these days. I hope I find my way, waiting on June. Well, I went off in 42 to fight those boys and pay my dues. Her wallet picture kept my spirits high. Charlie boy died in my arms. He saw Jesus, I saw blood. It soaked her wallet picture that cold night. Well, I told my best friend Charlie I would kiss his girl goodbye. He made me promise I'd go home and make Miss June my wife. Shaking like a drunk old fool, I hopped off of that plane, and I ran home to ask her in the rain, waiting on June. I hope that she says yes, waiting on June. In her faded summer dress, waiting on June. Her daddy shook my hand, and she lit up the moment I pulled out that silver band, waiting on June. Well, we married at the Methodist church, found a big white cow and a piece of dirt with pecan trees to build our homestead on. Joel and Becky, then Donna, then Shelby. Our tiny house was a sanctuary. Laughter filled those rooms all day long. And we were waiting on June. She's putting on her makeup and waiting on June. She's trying to get her hair curled, waiting on June. Kids, listen to me. You walk on down to Sunday school. I'll be there in 15, waiting on June. Well, the time flew by like I said it would. Yeah, the kids grew fast and the farm did good. Miss Bertha made our supper every day. At noon that silver bell would ring. We'd all say grace and dig on in. And we always ate together in those days. Oh, one by one those kids went off and found a love their own. There's nothing like the joy I knew when they brought their babies home. We'd play all day in the cotton fields with the dogs I raised up right. And Indian grandma's kitchen every night, waiting on June. Honey, don't burn the bacon, waiting on June. Our bellies are aching, waiting on June. She turns that fork so slow, and we all had to sit there till the last bite was no more, waiting on June. We were slower than we used to be. The nursing home told June and me that we'd have separate rooms side by side. Oh, what I'd give for one more night of sleeping with my wife. Since 45 I've touched her skin in the middle of the night. So I'm lying in this single bed until they cut the light. That's when she'll sneak in and I'll be fine. Waiting on you so we can kiss goodnight. Waiting on you. I'll hold her hand so tight. Waiting on you. I'll love her till I die. It's bittersweet when love grows old and you really miss your wife. Waiting on you. Well, they buried me last Tuesday morning. The good Lord came, He took me home. I closed my eyes and quickly went away. But the angels let me see her every day. Waiting on June. Our mansion is so grand. Waiting on June. Footprints in the sand, waiting on June. That's the story of my life. 'Cause me and Jesus are standing here till she walks through that light, waiting on June. I'm still waiting on June. I'm always waiting on June. No more waiting on you.
Follow us on Twitter.
Twitter, everything.
an OTBP podcast. Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt, and I have got another one of those great honors that I just have no idea how I ended up getting it. It's just kind of dumb luck that I always seem to fall into. I'm going to talk about one of their big accomplishments that they got in just a moment, but I've got Critter from the Old Crow Medicine Show on the line. Critter, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and the reason why I say that it's kind of an honor is because, well, it's a show about independent, underground, lesser heard of artists, and well, you guys are pretty much the epitome of underground independent artists, and we'll get into all of that in a second. But first, Critter, I got to break the ice. Are you ready for my two really, really difficult icebreaker questions?
I am.
All right. Well, Critter, again, here we go. Icebreaker question number one. Where are you right now?
I am in front of the Eastland Kroger on Gallatin Road near my house.
Well, all right.
I'm going grocery shopping after I get done with this interview.
Getting some stuff done at the same time. And see, and Critter, I've always been thinking about changing question number two because you just answered it while I asked you where you were. Question number two, what are you doing right now? And I can only assume that you're putting together your grocery list.
Well, it's in my head.
So, do I have your undivided attention then, I'm guessing?
You do. I'm not currently shopping.
Ah.
Just sitting in the truck.
I think that would be hilarious if you were to go in right now and just start shopping and doing the interview while you were grocery shopping.
No, I don't want to be one of those guys on the cell phone in line.
Well, that's quite admirable of you, sir. So, all right. Well, I wish that most of the people I went grocery shopping around were the same way. So, typically, I just put in headphones and listen to music while I'm doing it. So.
There you go.
Exactly. So, all right, sir. And again, it's a huge honor because you guys have been the epitome of underground, independent kind of music for a long time. And I say you're now getting the recognition that you deserve. Old Crow Medicine Show is one of those bands that, a buddy of yours told you about once when you were in college. And it was just like, yeah, I should check them out. And then you do, and you're like, oh, my God, there's music like this out here that's not on the radio?
Yeah, there is music like that that's not on the radio.
and the reason why I'm saying that you guys are like underground, independent kind of thing is because, well, you got your start kind of playing music just on the streets, I mean, that's kind of your MO from back in the day, right?
Yeah, that's how we played on every street corner from Cornwall, Ontario to Seattle, Washington, and back again. And it really honed our craft and made us tight as a band. And because without all that amplification and pre-production stuff that goes on in professional shows, when we were starting out, we really relied on each other and our vocals and just beating the expletive out of our instruments.
Critter, the show is on the internet, so you can more than likely just go ahead and curse whatever you want to say, all right?
Okay, gotcha.
But, yeah, and actually, if I was reading your bio correctly on your website, you actually got discovered performing on the streets by a bluegrass legend as well.
Yeah, we lived around Boone, North Carolina in about 99, 2000-ish. It was probably 99 we moved there, and after our first big continental trip. And, we always played in front of Boone Drug, which is on the corner of Main Street and King Street in Boone, North Carolina. I believe those are the cross streets. And, we were sitting there playing and doing our thing, and this lady comes up. She's like, "You guys are great. I'm going to go get my dad, and I'll be right back." And we're like, that's great. Go get your dad. And
sitting in front of the drugstore, you just thought he was sitting at maybe the blood pressure machine or something, right?
What's that?
Sitting in front of the drugstore there in Boone, you just thought he was inside getting his blood pressure checked or something, right?
Well, she went to get him. I guess he was at home. She came back, and it was Doc Watson, and he heard us, and right then and there he said he invited us to Merlefest. We played Merlefest, and Sally Williams from the Grand Ole Opry Sauce invited us to go do some Opry Plaza parties they had a while back, and playing outside the Grand Ole Opry for the people waiting to go in, and we did that. And yeah, it was it kind of really we got our break from playing on the street.
Yeah,
Really.
not many people can say, because we'll get to your big news because it hasn't happened yet as we are recording this. We'll get to the big news in just a bit, but not many people can say that they're more comfortable playing at the Opry than they are at any other location in the country.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we've been playing the Opry for almost as long as the band's been around, since probably 2000, which is, we had been a band maybe 2 years prior to that. So we've played the Opry countless times in the Ryman, and we always play a show for New Year's at the Ryman, and it's Marty Stewart got us. He introduced us on our debut, and it's just been a real blessing, a real big, huge part of our career here in Nashville, and it's been great.
Yeah, it is. It is the holy church of country music, and it's kind of it's kind of a place that all artists want to aspire to be at. And well, we'll get to why you'll be there a whole lot more in just a bit. But kind of the tune that a lot of people know of and knew of beforehand, but lately has really kind of just blown up thanks to the help of a few mainstream country artists out there like Darius Rucker, is the tune that you guys penned with Wagon Wheel. Tell us a little bit about how it's been since since the resurgence of the tune, I guess.
Well, Wagon Wheel, just like the band, has been a real slow burn for us, and it's been such an important song for the band and its career. It's kind of been our signature song, and Ketch wrote it when he was 17. Took the verse from a Bob Dylan song that's on a bootleg, and Ketch and I have been playing it since we were 17, and the band's been playing it for its whole career. And it took about 15 years for it to go gold. Same year it's going platinum. It's gone platinum already. Yeah, with 1 million copies now sold of Wagon Wheel, that's a platinum seller. That's awesome. It's incredible. And the thing is, that song grew just like an old folk song would go, by word of mouth, around the campfire, no radio play really. It's pretty amazing how that song spread. It's really, truly organic how that song came about. And, Well, yeah, and I can tell you honestly that there are a few local bands here in northern Wisconsin that have played your version, and I will say your version because it was, I've been hearing them play it since before the Darius Rucker version came out, and again, they've been rocking that one around here for quite a few years, and people always go, well, what song was that? Who does that originally? So it's it's a popular tune in the bar scene around here in northern Wisconsin, sir. I can tell you that much. Oh yeah, it's I think it's a popular bar song anywhere, I think now. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the tune, other than the fact that Ketch wrote it when he was 17, and tell us a little bit behind the song, maybe. The history of our version, or yeah, sure, or if you know a little bit about how it got into Darius's hands or something like that. Yeah, well, like I said, it was on a bootleg that I had brought back from England or France when I was in high school, and gave it to Ketch, and Ketch heard this song and wrote the verses, because we couldn't really understand the verses on the scratchy bootleg, and kept the chorus, and it just kind of, I remember we had to get in touch with Dylan's people when we put it on the album, so technically it's a Dylan C-Core co-write, even though none of us had actually met Bob Dylan. So it just, and Darius got, after this slow burn, and then, WSA was playing it a lot, and people were covering it, so people heard the song, and it's pretty cool that Darius picked it up. I mean, I grew up listening to Hootie and the Blowfish, so if you would have told me Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish would have been singing a song that Ketch wrote when he was 17, and we've been playing ever since, that would have been like a dream. That it's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah, he story was that he heard it at one of his children's talent shows. Like the teachers got up on stage and did their cover of it, and he just kind of picked it up from there, I think. Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but yeah, that's the cool thing about wagon wheels, that people hear it in places like elementary school teachers singing it. That's pretty cool, you know.
All right. Well, Critter, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play that one for you again. It's the 1,000,000-copy seller. This is Wagon Wheel. We'll talk with Critter in a little bit about their big news that they got coming up, and we'll talk about the new single that's just gotten released as well. All right, sir?
Sounds good.
Headed down south to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing my way to North Carolina, staring up the road and pray to God I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh, North Country winters keep forgetting me, and I lost my money playing poker, so I had to up and leave. But I ain't turning back to live that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking due south out of Roanoke, I caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long toke. But he's headed west from the Cumberland Gap, Johnson City, Tennessee. And I gotta get a move on before the sun. I hear my baby calling my name, and I know that she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me.
So there you go. That is the 1,000,000-copy seller. That is Wagon Wheel for Old Crow Medicine Show. And I've got Critter on the line from OCMS. Critter, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
You getting ready to go in shopping, though, I'm guessing. I know I'm holding you back from your food, and as a larger gentleman myself, I'm sure that it's quite devastating.
It's okay. I'm chewing on my shoe in the car, so I'll be all right.
Sometimes you just got to boil that leather down, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the big news that we've been hinting at, and like I said, it hasn't happened as of when this is being recorded, so it's still kind of fresh in your mind and still kind of an anticipatory thing. but Old Crow Medicine Show is being inducted into the Grand Ole Opry here in 2 weeks. How did you ever see that coming ever?
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm still kind of overwhelmed by that. It's such an honor to be asked to be members of the Grand Ole Opry. I thought it might be in the works. I didn't know. We'd been playing the Opry for a long time, and we always thought it'd be really great to be members. I think Wagon Wheel definitely helped open some people's eyes and say, hey, this band might be a good fit. And yeah, it was great. I heard maybe it was on the radar, and then I didn't think anything more of it. We were on tour, and it kind of dropped off my radar until Marty Stewart showed up on stage in Cleveland, Ohio. And I turned around. I'm like, oh, it's Marty in Cleveland,
Like he's there all the time or something, right?
Yeah, and then he brought this microphone out, and I'm like, great, he's going to sing with us. And then it started hitting me because it had the WSM Grand Ole Opry logo on the front, and I'm like, oh, okay. It was about the biggest surprise we've had in our career, and probably one of the biggest surprises I've had in my life.
Well, and I'll tell you right now, I may be killing a story that your manager John may want me to not talk about, but he told me, because I talked to him to set up this interview with you, and he was like, we had to actually shove Marty Stewart out of the building for about an hour. Like he just stood outside for about an hour waiting for you guys to get on stage so that you guys wouldn't see him until he came out on stage.
Yeah. There was a whole elaborate lie that, our manager's Norm, John's his assistant, but long story short, they had a whole lie constructed that we were supposed to do something with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. That's why there would be cameras or some microphones on stage that weren't ours to record it, or I don't know. And we believed it. We're like, okay, it doesn't really make sense why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame would want us, but to do a little bit for their country section or something. But anyway, we didn't think anything of it until it all happened, and it was great.
So would it have been cooler to do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff, or was it cool enough that it meant that you were getting the invite to be inducted?
Oh, it's and this is nothing against the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but it's definitely cooler to be asked to be members of the Grand Ole Opry.
Very cool. And as you said, the first time that you guys ever played at the Opry, Marty Stewart was the one to introduce you. Is it kind of full circle now that he's going to be the one inducting you in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's really full circle. It was so fitting that Marty would ask us to be a part because he's been our cheerleader for 13 years now, and he's we would not have done this without Marty. So, he's a big part of our success there at the Grand Ole Opry.
Very cool. Yeah, Marty Stewart, he's one of those proponents. He's a big fan of reaching back and grabbing the young folk and grabbing them in. So,
yeah, he's one of a kind.
Very cool. All right, sir. Well, it's the time in the podcast for you to spread the word of Old Crow Medicine Show. If you got a Twitter account, a Facebook page, if you guys want to talk about something, a project that you're working on that you can only give us a few details on, but just enough to wet everybody's whistle, this is the time. This is the pimp yourself portion of the show.
Yeah, pimp myself. I don't use social media myself. Personally, I don't have a Facebook or a Twitter account, but I know the band's got a Facebook account. But we got the one thing we do have is a new album in the works. So.
Oh. And I'm guessing that's all you can legally tell us, huh?
That's all I can legally tell you. We got new material in the works, so.
So there you go. Well, I guess this just leads right into it then. So, you got new stuff in the works, and, well, the wagon wheel has just kind of popped off on you as well. Let's talk about your most recent album, Carry Me Back. That one is, I bought it when it came out because I've been a fan for a while now, and I think I listened to it for probably 6 months straight.
Yeah, it's a hell of an album. I was actually taking a break from the band when they recorded that one. I was actually going to college for a couple years. So I actually wasn't really a part of that recording process, but since I joined back a couple years ago, and I've been able to play all that material live for the past couple touring seasons, and it's been great.
Well, there you go. I mean, you got to better yourself as well to better the band, I guess, right?
Yeah, I didn't get the degree, but I'm certainly paying for the college through the money I'm making through the band. So
there you go. All right. Well, Critter, tell us a little bit about the tune "Carry Me Back to Virginia." So, that's the one we're going to be playing here in a bit.
This is a tune I believe Ketch wrote. I believe Kevin co-wrote it with him. I can't remember. Ketch wrote it, and it's pretty near and dear to my heart. Being a Virginian and growing up in Virginia, it's a song about a young boy going to war during the American Civil War, and finding out that there is nothing really glorious about war. It was a terrible tragedy, and it being the 150th anniversary, these 2011 to 2015. I think it's pretty fitting, and war doesn't really change in its impact on people in society. So, it's something that happened in my old stomping ground. So, it's a pretty powerful song.
It is, yeah. It's a very powerful tune, and again, it is a very. I'd say it's a tune that no matter what war you're talking about, I'm sure the core principles definitely hit home for everyone across the ages. So.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, Critter, I appreciate your time, sir. Congratulations on the 1 million copies of Wagon Wheel being sold, and congratulations on the induction to the Opry, which is about 2 weeks away as well. All right?
Thank you very much.
All right. You, sir, you have a good time, and go get some good groceries and save some money on that stuff, too, right?
Okay, I will do.
I'm a rebel boy, born on the banks of the Shenandoah. In '61, I went to the war to win one for Virginia. Yeah, my brother went first and they called me too. I was green as clover in the morning dew. So I marched to the drum and we sang to the tune, "Carry me back to Virginia." Fire in the cannon, water in the well, raced through the valley with a rebel yell. I learned right quick how to march like hell and to fix that bayonet. Why'd you carry me back? Back to Virginia. With a sword in the saddle, powder in the gun, we thought for a minute our fight was done. So they lined us up with our medals on and hammered us into the quicksand. Then they burned that valley with a blaze of fire, cut through the lines like a red hot iron. So we ran for cover with the horses piled, and we shivered in the cold against them. But the war raged on like flames of hell. We dug from the pockets of the ones that fell, dressed in rags and we ate like rats. When they cut off our legs, we cried, "Why'd you carry me back? Why'd you carry me back? Carry me back to Virginia. Why'd you carry me back? Why'd you carry me back? Carry me back to Virginia." Died in the swamp on the banks of the river where the whitetail jumps. Died in the ditches, died in the field, in the belly of the wagon for our wounds were healed. Died in the wars, starved in the camps, locked in the prisons over mean and rags. Spilled our blood in the fight to defend, and they buried us all over Dixieland. Down in Alabama, down in Carolina, way down in Georgia on the Tennessee line. We fought for the rebels to Robert E. Lee. Never wanna go home to Virginia. Never wanna go home to Virginia. Won't you carry me back? Won't you carry me back? Carry me back to Virginia. Won't you carry me back? Carry me back, I wanna be buried in Virginia.
Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/offthebeatenpath and join the conversation of new and up-and-coming country music.
I could never pretend that I don't love. You can never pretend that I'm your man. That's exactly the way that I want. It's exactly the way that I am. And you call me in the morning with your truck. You're taking it downtown every night. I could never place the stars in that kind of fuck. Got my hands on the ground and you know I'm right. You wait so long. You wait so long. You wait so long. You wait so long. Every time it happens, lighting up, honey, it ain't that bad. And the afterthought rose to recognition, like every other coffin that I had. And if you would run down and win a mud, you fall on your knees and you pray to the Lord. Maybe take a look at the politician. Nothing happens in this burnt out town anymore. You wait so long, you wait so long, you wait so long, you wait so long. And your heart goes on like a frozen freight train. Know that I help you if I can, but I'm just a raindrop in a river, just a little itty bitty grain of sand. And you know that I'm doomed to repeat this. All the bad habits that I left, but it's better than your five-bird fornication and all the dirty money that you earn. And you wait so long, you wait so long, you wait so long, you wait so long.
Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. One of my favorite bands coming out of the Midwest is, well, they're out of Duluth, Minnesota. Duluth, Minnesota. There goes all my Minnesota listeners. I'm sorry for the bad accent. I apologize for that. But hopefully you love me because I'm giving Trampled by Turtles some love. One of my favorite Midwestern bands, as a matter of fact. They're out there. They're doing, like, I've had a friend of mine compare what Trampled by Turtles does with what Anthrax does to heavy metal. Like, they're the heavy metal of bluegrass music. I would accept that as a compliment if I was the guys from Trampled by Turtles. So, Trampled by Turtles, Wait So Long, that's brand new tune for them. And again, it's right here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. Speaking of bluegrass music, this is a very bluegrass heavy one because we had Old Crow Medicine Show's very own Critter on as our special guest. So kind of a bluegrassy heavy one, but still fun bluegrass. It's not like with Kendall Winters where it was like traditional bluegrass. This is the upbeat, more fun stuff. Not that Kendall was. I'm just gonna take my foot out of my mouth. Here's the Punch Brothers. Chris Thiel, the former lead mandolin player from the band Nickel Creek. This is his newest project. He's got all kinds of projects, trust me. This is the Punch Brothers, Squirrel of Possibility. Love that title. It's off the Ahoy EP. Go check it out. Here it is. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/offthebeatenpath. And follow us on Twitter at OTBP Podcast.
You tell me that you don't like people, you can only believe in yourself. You pity all those who like your higher breeding, so I can see the reason you don't have anybody left. Could it be you wear your fur on the inside, prefer not to go outside where the sky is way too blue? Tonight you'll grace us with all your inner presence, while your backhanded compliments suck the air out of the room. Hey, don't rain on my parade and kill a perfect day, wasting my time. Hey, you always find a way to bring me down when I feel fine. We call you sunshine. Sits up on your shoulder, says the world will pass you over while you're waiting for a crown. You're no stranger to the art of how to fake it. You play until you break it, you make it hard to be around. Hey, don't rain on my parade and kill the perfect day, wasting my time. Hey, you always find a way to bring me down when I feel fine. We call you sunshine. We call you sunshine. Someday you'll be up on your mountain, high above the clouds where you can never be found. But you start a fire just to beg for intervention. You like the drama and attention, God forbid we bring you down. Hey, don't rain on my parade and kill a perfect day, wasting my time. You always find a way to bring me down when I feel fine. Hey, don't rain on my parade and kill a perfect day, wasting my time. You always find a way to bring me down when I feel fine. We call you sunshine. We call you sunshine.
What do you get when you take 3 chicks and subtract a mouth? Well, you get the Courtyard Hounds, and I mean that in the best way. The Courtyard Hounds with their tune Sunshine. They are the lovely ladies that were in the Dixie Chicks minus Natalie Maines. So it's the Dixie Chicks minus Natalie Maines makes you a Courtyard Hound, and it's a great tune. Sunshine is the name of it here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. Now, we'll talk about these guys in just a little bit because they're some of the up-and-coming Texas artists that are making it big right now. It's Whiskey Myers' brand new one called Home on Off the Beaten Path podcast.
Take me home to where I know that place I come to love so. A sugar sand and red clouds, tall pine trees and whippoorwill. I know there's a place where less down city is more than I can take. Now I got to can take it back home. I live on a lost highway, mass confusion and misery. Set me free, that's where I be, between the natures and the Trinity. I know there's a place, there's a world, there's more that I can take. I've got to get away when I'm low. I know I can take it back home. There's a girl who stole my heart, and from where I am we're miles apart. Well, she's all mine, she tastes like wine, wild as a honeysuckle vine. I know there's a place where she gives me more than I can take. Got to get away when I'm low. I know I can take it back home. Back home.
Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt, and there you go. That's Whiskey Myers' brand new one. That's called Home. I've been a big fan of them since, for a while now, as a matter of fact. Again, their first tune that I heard was called Anna Marie, and that was a big song for me. Like, I really fell in love with that tune. But the funny thing is, like, that wasn't even off their first album. That was off of Firewater, which came out in 2011, and actually, I believe this new tune, Home, coming off a new album that's due out very soon. So keep your eyes open for that. So if you're a big fan of that song, or if you're a big fan of Anna Marie or Virginia, please go check them out. That is Whiskey Myers. Firewater is the name of the album that's really catching on from people. But they had one as well called Road of Life from 2008 that was very good too. So go check out Whiskey Myers. Check out any of these artists, and please follow them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, become fans, become super fans. And that way, when you become the leader of their the president of their fan club, you can tell them, hey man, I first heard about you on Off the Beaten Path podcast with Ben Merritt. It's a great show. You should go talk to Ben, and you should go, never mind. I'm going to step away from that before I get into trouble. So, but again, become fans of these artists. These guys are all up and coming. Some of them do have their foot a little bit further in the door than others, but they all need your help. They all need your support. Talk to an artist, and the first thing that they say is, thank you, fans, because they know without you, and I know without you, there's no reason to do this. So thank you very much for hanging out here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. Again, join us next week. It's going to be another great episode here on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.